it's recording.
Okay, so that.
Oh, I need my phone. Okay. So, how many of you got even the slightest bit uncomfortable when the word feminism popped up on my laptop? Okay, so all of you. So, Abby, why were you uncomfortable?
Well, because it's a really controversial topic.
Yeah, we have a lot of, this country is kind of divided right now on many different topics, but this is one of them. So just to get started and to kind of let you know what I'm going to be talking about, I just want to give you a little story of my first encounter with the word feminism. So every year, well, every other year, my family gets together for a family reunion and we go camping, and it's all of my extended cousins, and there's over 200 of us that go every year. So 2 years ago, the men decided to have a golfing tournament, and there's a golfing course nearby, and they left to go camping. All the women stayed behind, except for one. They all went to go golfing on this golf course and have this big tournament. Well, I had a cousin who brought his new fiance, and she didn't really know many of us yet. She didn't really feel comfortable staying and talking with all of us because she didn't know us, and so she'd rather go with her fiance to the golf course, and so she was the only woman that went. No one really thought anything of it. She had liked golfing, and she had had a lot of experience with golfing, and so we just kind of thought, like, oh, that's great for her, like, that she can go golfing with the guys and she feels comfortable with them, and no one really thought anything of it. We thought it was great that she wanted to go. And so it turns out her team had won the whole tournament. And so later that night, as we were all gathered around the campfire, they were having like an award ceremony for the tournament. And I have an aunt that is a self-proclaimed feminist, and she's really extreme with it. She'll go to extremes with it. And so when they were doing the award ceremony, and I looked over at her, and I noticed that whenever all guys teams would go up, she wouldn't clap or anything, she wouldn't cheer or anything. But as soon as they announced the winners, the one with the only woman on it, she just like burst out in clapping and like yelling and just like applauding this woman that we had never met for being the first woman to ever go to the golf tournament. She made a huge deal about it, and she even went as far as to say, she was announcing this, and she interrupted the whole ceremony to say this, and she said, she was addressing the men on that team, and she said, you guys are lucky to have her because you wouldn't have won without her. And so I kind of thought, I had never really had any other experience with feminism other than her proclaiming herself as a feminist. And I remember thinking, I thought feminism was about equality, but what she was doing wasn't equal. She was like shaming all of the men in the name of feminism, which I didn't think was right. So what is the word feminism? If you look up in the definition, it says a belief in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. It doesn't say that one gender is better than the other. It doesn't say that you have to shame men in the name of feminism. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say women are better than men. It says equality of the sexes. It doesn't even mention a certain sex in that. And so that just goes to show how much feminism has evolved into what it is today, because that isn't how it used to be before. So to give you an example, I just want to give you a brief history of the word feminism and when it started, and how it's evolved over time. So there were 3 waves of feminism. The first was started in the 1830s, and that's the word we use is feminism, that we know that's when it started. It's when women got the right to vote, and that's when it all started, when women started fighting for rights. And it was mostly about political power and mostly about the right to vote. And I think that's something that we all agree as a society today. I know I do personally, which is a good thing for this country. I don't think I've met anybody who says, I wish that we didn't make sure women have the right to vote. You know, it's something that we all really agree on, and we all agree was a really good thing for our country, and it was a really big thing that happened, and it was life-changing for this country. So, like this picture, Women of the World Unite, it's not shaming other people, it's, hey Bree, could you go over? Thanks. It's not shaming other people, it's uniting women together. It's not about hating the other sex. It's not about making other people feel bad about their gender or what they do as their gender, for their gender as a whole. It's just an all-around really good thing. The second wave of feminism was about reproductive rights, workplace issues, and roles in the family. This is also something that I think we can all agree is a really good thing for this country. Nothing really out of the ordinary, nothing too extreme. For example, this picture in the 60s, this was about equal positions with equal pay. It was about making sure that women who have the same education, the same experience, the same competence as men could get the same positions and equal pay as men, which is a really good thing. It's something that I believe in. So here comes the third wave of feminism, and instead of it being about uniting women as a whole and making women feel empowered, it starts going into micro-politics and something that I like to call man-hating. It's about victimizing, it's about feeling entitled, and it's about rape culture, all of which are based on negative things. And while I agree with a lot of things that they're saying, the word feminism has now become shed in a negative light instead of a positive one. It isn't about empowering anymore, it's about shaming other people into forming their own political views, which is something that I don't agree with. And while I do agree with the true meaning of feminism, which really is equality, feminism today has gone too extreme. It has turned the tides instead of making it equal. So, when did feminism turn into something like this, something that's empowering to women, something that we can all appreciate, into this? I know you all know Emma Watson. She's a self-proclaimed feminist and kind of the spokesgirl for feminism and the true meaning of feminism. She's someone that I really admire. So I just want to show you a little video of her really quick.
The more I've spoken about feminism, the more I have realised that fighting for women's rights has too often become synonymous with man-hating. If there is one thing I know for certain, it is that this has just hit. I started questioning gender-based assumptions a long time ago. When I was 8, I was confused with being called bossy because I wanted to direct plays that were put on for our parents, but the boys were not. When at 14, I started to be sexualized by self-evident. When at 15, my girlfriends started dropping out of their beloved sports teams because they didn't want to appear muscly. When at 18, my male friends were unable to express their feelings. I decided that I was a feminist, and this seems uncomplicated. But my recent research has shown me that feminism has become an unpopular word. Women are choosing not to identify as feminist. Why has the word become such an uncomfortable one? I'm from Britain, and I think it is right that I am paid the same as my male counterparts. I think it is right that I should be able to make decisions about my own body. I think think it is right that women be involved on my behalf in the policies and decisions that will affect my life.
Okay. So she is someone that I really admire because she embraces the true word, the true meaning of feminism, and she really fights for true equality rather than fighting for her gender. She fights for both, which is something that I really appreciate, and it's something that I think more feminists, true feminists, need to embrace today. So what are some arguments that kind of the radicalized feminists are making today? Well, one statistic that is kind of thrown out there a lot is that for every 70 cents that a woman is making for the same job, a man is making $1. And that's always confused me because I've always thought, well, who's done the research on that? How are they gathering that data? And after doing the research myself, I've found that that statistic is, I don't want to say made up. I'm just saying I don't think it's a valid argument, simply because when we hold jobs, there is so much that goes into how much we're getting paid, who gets the job, and what kind of job you're doing. Your education makes a difference, your competence makes a difference, the experience you've had, how good of a job you do. And so I don't like that saying that for every 70 cents that a woman's making, a man's making $1, because every employer has the right to base what they're going to pay their employees based on so many different things, not just gender. It's actually illegal to base it on gender, but I found that that's happening. Hi, sorry, I'm just giving a presentation for school really quick. Listen if you want. So that's an argument that I don't think is valid, simply because there's so much more that goes into it. It's not just about gender, it's about education and competence and what experiences you have. And it's every employer's right to make those decisions, and they don't have to explain those decisions to people.